Okay, so you want to know more about starting a business with, well, not a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
And we're taking a deep dive into Chris Guillebeau's book, $100 Startup, for this one.
Makes sense.
It's all about how to turn what you're already good at into a business.
Right. Like turning your passions and skills, the things you're already into something that actually makes money.
And the best part is it doesn't require a huge investment up front.
Yeah, exactly. That's the big appeal.
Now I know what you're thinking. Is that even possible?
Well, that's what we're here to find out.
This book dives into 50 real-life stories of businesses that started with, get this, as little as $100.
Oh, wow.
Some of them even grew into multi-million-dollar companies later on, so pretty inspiring stuff.
Yeah, it really shows you what's possible when you think outside the box.
So let's break down some of the core concepts here, the stuff that makes this whole thing tick.
All right, so one of the big things in a $100 startup is this idea of solopreneurship.
Solopreneurship.
It basically means running the business all by yourself.
Okay, so I'm the CEO, the marketing team, and the janitor all rolled into one.
Pretty much, yeah. It gives you a lot of freedom and flexibility.
I could see the appeal there.
And the book really challenges the traditional idea that you need a ton of cash to get started.
Right, like investors and loans and all that.
Exactly.
Guillebeau's saying it's more about the idea itself and how you put it into action.
Yeah, having a smart plan and offering something people actually want is way more important than having a huge bank account.
Okay, so let's talk about finding that perfect idea.
Right.
Because it's not just about what I'm passionate about, right? It needs to be something other people actually want and are willing to pay for.
Absolutely. It's about finding that sweet spot where your skills and passions meet the market demand.
So how do I actually figure that out?
Well, one thing Guillebeau emphasizes is launching quickly and improving as you go, kind of like a learn-by-doing approach.
Okay, so don't get bogged down trying to make everything perfect right off the bat.
Right, because getting feedback early on helps you adjust and refine your offering much faster.
That makes sense. Minimize the risk.
And another interesting thing is how these businesses approach marketing and sales.
Okay, how so?
It's not about big flashy ads or anything like that. It's much more about personal recommendations and building relationships.
That's refreshing, actually. It feels much more, I don't know, authentic.
Yeah, it's about connecting with people and building trust.
And it seems like a lot of these ventures are about building a business that fits into a specific lifestyle, right?
Yeah, that's a huge part of it.
It's not just about making money. It's about creating a life you love.
Exactly, a business that serves your life, not the other way around.
I like that.
And the book has some really cool examples of this in action.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
There's this one about a consultant who started their business with just $50.
$50, seriously?
Yep, just enough to cover some basic online tools, and they were off to the races.
That's amazing. Shows you how lean you can be.
And there's another story about a photographer who created a really successful online course teaching people their craft.
So they were already good at photography and they just found a way to share their knowledge with others.
Exactly. They leveraged their existing skills and turned it into a whole new income stream.
That's smart.
And then there's this one about a travel enthusiast who started a blog documenting their experiences and eventually monetized it.
So they turned their passion for travel into a business. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it just goes to show you there are tons of different ways to make this work.
Now, for someone listening to this who's maybe feeling a little overwhelmed by all this,
Sure.
what would you say is the most important thing to remember from all of this?
I think the big takeaway is that you don't need a ton of money or some super complicated business plan to get started.
It's more about the right idea and then just taking action.
Exactly. Find something viable and then just go for it.
Makes sense.
So I guess the question for anyone listening is, what skills do you already have that other people might find valuable?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because you might be sitting on a potential business idea without even realizing it.
So at the end of the day, a $100 startup is all about showing people they can build a successful career doing something they love.
And they can do it without breaking the bank.
And with very limited resources.
Precisely.
It's really inspiring to see all these examples of people who made it happen.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that about covers it for our deep dive into a $100 startup.
Yeah, I think we hit the main points.
All right, so here's a final thought for everyone out there before we wrap up.
Okay.
Think about your skills and passions, the things you're already good at, and enjoy.
Got it.
Now, what's one small step, even a tiny one, that you can take today to see if maybe, just maybe, those skills could be the foundation for your own low-cost business?
That's a great question to leave our listeners with.
It's all about taking that first step, no matter how small.
You never know where it might lead.
Exactly.
All right, well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, this was great. Thanks for sharing your insights.
My pleasure. Anytime.
Okay, well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in to the Deep Dive.
See you next time.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive into something awesome.
Sounds good.
All right, take care, everyone.